Hi guys. I don't even know where to start. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about something that has changed my life. This is a story that I haven't really told many people. It isn't really something that I share with a lot of people. I thought maybe this will be my time to kind of get it off my chest and let people know my story and my experience in this and what I have learnt from it. I sincerely apologise if I start crying. Because I probably will. I probably will start crying at some point during this because it does still upset me a bit, even though it's been at least 2 months since it happened. I think it was March the 30th to the 31st, and a few days before that, a cyclone hit the coast of Australia. It hit Darwin and up the coast and everything. And, you know, a lot of people probably don't know that unless if you're probably Australian or whatever, because a lot of Australian news doesn't get shared everywhere else. But a cyclone hit the coast of Australia and it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And obviously, you know, cyclones move down, like the weather comes down in the end. So yeah, that happened. We were all told from the down part of Australia that we would get some rain, some pretty heavy rain, and some flash flooding, which usually happens anyway when we have a storm or something up the coast. It always comes down and influences on us. But I don't think we were expecting such a big reaction of water to hit Australia. It was a Thursday, which I'm pretty sure is the 30th. I went to bed on the 29th, which was a Wednesday, and that day it had been pouring, like absolutely pouring. And where I went to school got flooded pretty badly, and little areas around as well got really badly flooded. And, you know, during the day, the water was getting pretty high and I was getting alerts on my phone saying, you know, evacuations for places that I went. And I was like, you're okay, you know, it's going to flood. We all know that. But I went to bed that night on a Wednesday at about 11 o'clock at night. And I didn't really think of it. I just thought, you know, Dad, you know, it's pretty windy outside. You know, it's probably going to go away anyway and we'll be okay, I guess. My guinea pigs were outside on the table and it was like blowing so hard outside. Dad, we better bring them inside so, you know, they don't get blown away, which sounded pretty stupid, but I said it anyway. Brought them inside. I went to bed at 11 o'clock and the water from the house was pretty far away. That point where it wouldn't have affected us. It's making me cry already. It was about 12:04 in the next day, which was a Thursday. I was asleep and for some reason I had this feeling in my gut that something wasn't right while I was sleeping. And I don't know what my body made me to do it, but I let my hand relax out of the bed. My hand fell into water and I didn't really think of anything at first. I didn't think that, oh wow, my hand just fell in water. Like, wasn't even a thing on my mind. I just was like, oh yeah. And I wiped my face thinking, oh, it's just a dream. Like, don't be silly, it's just a dream. Like, no way could water come in your house. And then I realised that there's water on your face. That was on your hands is now on your face. And I opened my eyes and first thing I saw was the time. It was 12:04. And that is probably a time that I'll never forget because that was when my life changed. My life changed that day from being semi-normal to changing my life forever and going through an experience that, you know, no one should go through because it's the worst thing to possibly go through. I was too scared to actually see what my house looked like. But I sat up just thinking, like, this could be it. And I sat up and I just saw water everywhere in my house, outside, and saw my guinea pigs floating in their cage. And the first thing I grabbed for was my phone to see, you know, if I could call for help or something. By that time, my phone was underwater, and I just dipped my hand in and pulled it out, and not thinking that the circuit breaker, because the power points were underwater, I didn't even think about that. That was probably the last thing that I thought of is, wow, you could get electrocuted and die. So I pulled my phone out and it was dead, and I just sat there and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. So by that time I called out to my dad. I was like, Dad, you know, I was like, Dad, and he was like, didn't reply. I was like, Dad. I tried to say it kind of not too loud because my sister was staying with me, as well as my dad. And I called out to him and he was like, yeah, Sam, what's up? I was like, Dad, there's water in the house. And he was like, no, it's okay, go back to sleep. And I was like, no, Dad, there's water in the house. And he's like, okay, it's okay, I'll come and check. He's like, I'll come and see. Well, my dad stepped into water about ankle deep, and I just hear him go, oh shit. And my dad just comes running out to me, and he looked so confused. And was like, hey, it's okay. And I was like, no, Dad. I was like, what's going on? I was like, what do we do? And he just raced over to me and just hugged me and was like, it's gonna be okay. You know, we're gonna be fine. And I was like, okay. And I said, what do we do? And he's like, just try and grab everything that you can and put it up high. Honestly, we didn't know how high the water was gonna get. We had no idea. So I jumped out of bed and, you know, got my phone, which drowned. No point in even getting. I started stacking things up high, things that were valuable that we might need, even though majority of stuff was wet or damaged anyway. I started packing a bag of clothes and everything. Then the floor started floating. It was vinyl. And it hadn't been glued to the ground, so it was kind of just sitting on the concrete, and by that time it was rising because the water got under it, and so he was stepping over the floor trying to push it down. I was tripping over, I was falling everywhere. I think the main point at the time was I was thinking about my school books. I was like, oh my god, my school books, you know, so I started packing that up and putting it up high, and I think by that time we were just trying to put things up high and figure out, you know, what we were going to do. Then the neighbour comes in and knocks on the door and is like, oh my god, are you guys okay? You know, you need to get out, it's getting pretty high outside and, you know, it's getting pretty dangerous. And I just stood there and I just thought, like, is this really happening? This even real? Because, like, you never think it's ever going to happen to you until you're in that position where you think about the things like, what if things go south? What if things, like, so many things were running through my head that night that I just honestly cannot explain how much was going through my mind. Which I try to control because I didn't want it to get the best of me in a time where I needed to stay calm and I needed to stay focused on what I was doing, because I didn't have time to waste, really, because it was either life or death kind of situation. At the time my dad had left, he'd gone next door to wake them up, who we shared a property with, and so Dad opened the door and he let all this water rush in, which then took it up to about my knees. And I looked outside, I turned the light on, and it was just an ocean. Ocean full of water that shouldn't be there. And it was dark, so it was just pitch black. I couldn't see anything where that light wasn't shining. So beyond that was water, and I couldn't see it, which was so scary because I couldn't see anything. Walking to the room, and my sister, I was packing some bags, and by that time my sister had just started waking up a little bit. And the bed started floating. And she woke up and was like, Sam, what's going on? And she saw that I was wet and, you know, crying a little bit. And she's like, what's going on? And I said, Charlie, I said, you just need to stay calm right now. I said, I'm going to tell you something that is going to freak the hell out of you, but I said, I need you to stay calm. And she didn't kind of understand what I was trying to say by stay calm. And I said, you just need to sit there right now and I need to tell you something. And she goes, Sam, what is it? And I said, right now, I'm in about above my knee deep water and your bed is floating. And she just flipped out. I'm sorry, I'm crying. Which made me even more scared because it showed that she was so scared. Which scared me because I don't like seeing my sister scared, and I tried to protect her and I couldn't because I had to protect myself as well. And she just freaked out, and I started freaking out as well because by that time my dad had left. He'd gone to, you know, do things outside and figure things out and help people as well. And she just flipped out, and I had to yell at her because she was stressing me out so much, like unbelievably stressing me out, like. And I said, okay, I went over and hugged her and I said, it's okay. I said, we're going to fix this. I said, we're going to get out and everything. And I said, Charlie, you need to do something. I said, you can't just sit there. So she started packing some bags and figuring some stuff out. And I was grabbing things that were valuable and putting them up high still. And then I heard this big bang. And my dad, by that time, had come back. And I just heard this big bang and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, what is that? Well, I walked out and there's the 2 fridges floating in my room. And I just couldn't believe it. Everything was happening so quickly and everything started floating and everything was banging and clanging and around, and I said, Dad, we need to get the guinea pigs outside. They're in my way too much. I'm stepping on them. And he was like, okay, well, so we put them outside, which was silly because we forgot to go get them later on. But by that time, my dad said we need to get Charlie out of here. So he took her to the house that across the road, which wasn't really wet. Well, it was bone dry. So he took her across there and I was there on my own and I found my sister's phone, and I actually don't even remember doing this. I was kind of in shock, as you would be in this situation, and I filmed this clip, which makes me cry every time. So I'm floating. Everything's floating outside. I'm in about 3 meters of water right now in my house, and I'm evacuating with my parents. This is so scary. I don't know what to do. My sister's freaking out. The house is just, everything's just floating away. I've lost nearly everything in the house. It's just in a zone to get things and save myself. And I remember at one point I stood there and I was like, Dad, and he's like, it's okay. And I started freaking out and I was like, it's okay. I talked to myself and he's like, it's okay. And I came back and I just started banging straight into things again and putting up things up high. And then my dad goes, where are the keys for the car? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, oh my God, I put them on the fridge. Oh, by that time the fridges were floating. By that time the water was, let me try and stand up for you. The water by then was up to here on me, and I'm not a tall person. I'm pretty short. I'm 160 centimetres, so obviously if you could figure that out, I don't know. I had to go underwater and search for them and feel for them, and I couldn't find them. The door was still open, so I just immediately thought that they've been floated. They're gone. My dad came back and said, have you found the keys? And I said no. And he goes, okay, well, he goes, you need to get out of here now. He said, it's not safe. So I grabbed some bags and put them on my shoulder, and I walked out with my dad, and I stood at the door where the water wasn't really affecting anything. And I just said, I can't do this. I said, I don't think I can go. And he said, you have to go. He said, I don't know. He said, it's not safe anymore. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I've got you. Okay. And I was holding onto my dad's hand, and we walked around the corner, and it was just pouring through, and I've never seen water move so quickly. It was literally like when you're at the beach, and do you know how like the water, when it sucks back, it just pulls everything and you fall over and everything, like you lose your balance? That was literally what it was like walking in the dark with things just could have been anything in the water, and you couldn't see it because it was so dark and murky. Had no flashlights, so we're walking pretty much in the dark. You might as well blindfold yourself. I'm walking through the water, and we step on something slippery, which we didn't know at the time what it was, but the next morning when we went back, it was guttering that goes around your house. We were walking on that, so my dad told me the next morning that if it was the other way around, it would have just sliced our feet. Well, he kept walking, and Dad said, you know, you've got to be careful if something hits you, don't let go. And I was like, okay. And I saw this thing floating, and I didn't know what it was until it hit me. And I lost my balance, and I fell over. I was holding my dad's hand, and he grabbed me, and I just looked at him like, oh my god, like that could be it for me. And I always think about it now, that could have been my time. That truly could have been my time, because that night 3 people died where I lived. I could have been that 4th person, which is so scary. And Dad said, we gotta go, like, you have to get out now. And so I kept walking, and we just kept going, and I got across the road, and I kind of don't really remember anything after that. I just remember my dad going back and trying to figure things out, and I was there just trying to dry myself, trying to keep my sister calm, keep my neighbours calm. I don't really remember much after that. I just remember sitting on the couch with my sister and all that. And then I got a phone call from my friend on my sister's phone at 1 o'clock in the morning. And so by this time, it was at least 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning after all this. And just wanted to check up and see if we were okay, because I lived in Barring Bar, if none of you know where it is. And she goes, oh my god, you know, are you okay? And I just remember just standing there, being able to reply, because I didn't know how to tell her. And I said, no, actually, I'm not okay. She was like, what do you mean? I said, we just lost everything. I said, I just woke up in water, and I just burst out crying. I was on the phone with her for at least 20 minutes, and that's all I remember. And I just remember thinking, wow, I really want my mum to call me, and my mum didn't call me. I tried calling my mum, but she didn't answer, so the only kind of contact I had was with my friend. Really upsetting, because I needed my mum, and she didn't call me. Which makes me kind of angry and sad at the same time. That night, we just walked around, and we just saw the water rising and everything, and then I said to my dad discreetly, I said, oh, did you go back and get the guinea pigs? And he said, oh my god, I did it. And he goes, I'm going to go back. And my dad wanted to go back, and I said, no. I said, if you go back, I said, that could be it. I said, you could just be taken like that. And I said, knowing that you went back to get a pair of guinea pigs. And he said, yeah. I said, that's fair. And I said, they're just guinea pigs. And as hard as that said to me, like, that's so rude. And I said, but I'd rather knowing that I lost guinea pigs instead of my dad trying to save a pair of guinea pigs and then finding out the guinea pigs are still alive. You know, I said, what's the point in that? It was about 5 o'clock when we woke up. And I woke up and I walked outside with my dad, who I found standing out the front of the house. And I just looked at him and said, I remember hugging him, really. I don't really remember doing anything else but just hugging him and, you know, seeing if he was okay, because my dad will hide things. He said, he doesn't tell you. The guinea pigs. So we ran to the house, we just bolted. We looked everywhere, and then we looked up the side of the house, and there was their cage. I was just relieved. And my dad just bolted over to their cage, and next minute these 2 little heads pop up who look like 2 drowned rats and just squeal. And it was probably the happiest thing that had happened that whole day, because we just thought, what if we lost those guinea pigs? Like, what would have happened? And we still tell everyone now, and like, we still laugh about it. Like, I remember after the hot flood, after we cleaned up and everything, we sat down, we were helping with people, and we told them the story, and everyone just laughed. It was just the best thing that had happened that whole time out of everything. And I've never cleaned so much stuff. I've never chucked out so much stuff. I've never seen so much mud in my life. And it was just horrific. There was stuff everywhere. Like, it was just wet and smelly. I was gross. I've been in the same clothes for at least 2 days, which was just disgusting. Thing that I never ever want to go through in my life again. I have taken out of this experience as not to be a negative. I did at first, and I thought, why turn this into a negative? Like, you nearly died and you didn't. And to me that says, you know, take that as a life lesson, you know. And I realised life is short. Life can be taken away from you just like that. You know, if the gods or angels or whoever you believe in believe that you should go, I would have floated away, and my dad would have come after me, and we probably both would have died. Angels or whoever told me that, you know, you still have a life, and I'm not saying whoever died didn't have a life, but they gave me a sign that you are strong and you need to keep going. And I've taken this as a life lesson that, you know, life is short, things happen, move on from them, because there is so much in life that is better than these little things that you kerfuffle about or whatever. And it really showed to me this time who is your friend and who's worth something in your life, because some people weren't there for me when I needed them. And I hope you guys enjoyed. That was really hard for me. I've never really done something like this on my channel, so I hope you guys you know, take it in and no hate, please. I thought it was an experience I should express with you guys, because I know a lot of people were in the flood, and if you are in a flood, then you can, you know, find a way of, you know, dealing with it, I guess, and all that. So if you guys have any questions at all, you know, leave them down below, because I would be happy to answer them for you. It can be anything, just let me know and I'll answer them. So yeah, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling